Don't worry, Isles. You and I are in the same boat, but at least you're up on stage, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, when you're one of the best in the world, it's okay to be addicted to it.
Yeah, no, he's not addicted. He's committed, Jatt. That's the secret. That's the secret here. Is he turned it into the career, and now turned it into a win against Team Liquid up on stage, 1-1 on the scoreboard, meaning that we will not get a 3-0 sweep today.
So, as we progress deeper into Fearless, this question of, okay, I agree, it's better for TL when they slam tanks for impact, and he clearly is on board with that.
Yep.
Do you start to run out of effective tank picks to slam? Because the premier ones are Ornn and Zion.
Yes, I think you do. I think the question of what Team Liquid will have in late best of fives has been something people have been asking since Fearless started coming into play, and we haven't been able to see it. The thing that I want to point to is that Yuuji's still here.
Yeah.
So I thought, I had heard last week from Spawn on camera, we have the tapes.
He said, yeah, we could run it.
It was the plan last week.
That
That was
wasn't
last
the
week's
plan
plan.
this week.
Yeah. His plan last week was that we're going to play Yuuji for the first 2 games, and then Umpty in game 3 or later in the Fearless, because that's when stuff like the Nocturne or the Maokai Sejuani, if it hadn't been played, will come into the champion pool. But I would also say, like, Yuuji had a pretty poor game. It would make sense to sub him out in this game, because it's not like you're subbing out a pitcher and he can never come back. Like, you could still put Yuuji back in later, give him a breather after that game, but that's not what they decided to do. They decided to run back with Yuuji for another game.
Now, Umpty plays other things also, but is it another consideration that Dignitas intentionally have played Skarner and Maokai early in the series to fearlessly ban them out?
It's a good point.
And thus reduce a little bit?
Keep Yuuji in, because Sheiden thinks Yuuji is the worst player.
Ooh, okay.
We're connecting the dots here.
Yeah. It's, 5D chess right now.
Anyways, they got the Vi, which is banned out a lot.
Yeah, that's a strong pick. That's a strong pick.
While the Talia was played, the Ahri was not, which is another classic combination. And so Dignitas will steal that one away and break it up before it can even happen.
And they're really taking away a lot of APA's picks, other than the Ziggs, which I think he's probably going to lock in.
There's a very notable one still available, being hovered right now.
I don't feel like it's amazing into Ahri, because Ahri can close the range whenever they want to engage in team fights, but this is one of the last chances.
You can still make it. You can still make it to the concert.
Yeah, it's locked in. He's making sure he plays it. And then Renekton for impact. That's still, I'd say, a champion that's well within his wheelhouse. It's just not a traditional tank.
But the later the series goes, and this is why best of 5 Fearless Draft has been so exciting. We haven't been able to see it here in the North yet, but we will have a Game 4, so that means things like the Ziggs will not be available anymore for APA, and also the Ahri, I would argue, is a takeaway, as that's one of his most played champions as well. So we really get to the situation where the champ pools are heavily pinched, and we'll finally get to see some of the implications of that for a team like Team Liquid that we thought maybe would struggle. Speaking of tanks, though, that's a tank locked in for Srtty.
Yeah, and it is, I think it is wise to give up on, all right, Srtty's going to counter pick impact and like have some big effect, because that has not happened.
Nope.
No.
That is he's 2 counter picks, hasn't happened. So you know what? I'll just take Cassante and further fearlessly ban away, maybe for future games, other things that Impact has been very successful on. Because clearly, like you said, Renekton isn't a quote-unquote tank, but it is a very comfortable champion for Impact. So trying to take away of more things he's comfortable with later.
Yeah, the story of this series has been a little bit more on Keine and Tomo as kind of the big carries here. Keine landing the shock blast in that last game. Tomo on the Sivir had a great game as well. And now Keine gets to make plays on the Ahri, something I'm very excited to see.
Yeah, I like the Smolder ban. I was thinking that maybe APA would throw a curveball, play Trist, and they'd throw Yeon on Ziggs again, but I feel like having triple AD topside would just be a terrible draft, so I'm almost sure the Ziggs is locked in mid lane, and the TL is discussing their bot lane picks now.
I'll lock it in for them. I'm going to mandate that is APA Ziggs.
Gonna run out there, whisper in Spawn's ear.
The last time they tried to be cheeky, though.
And I did not like that. I don't think many people like that at all.
No. Well, we'll yet to see it confirmed. They do get one more ban here, as the AD carry pool has been pinched a little bit more. Jhin and Smolder taken off the table.
I like the Sheiden target too. There was Sheiden respect. Kindred's a champion that he used a lot in solo queue to climb on some of his rank 1 climbs. So some respect there, and some double carry Sheiden bans from Team Liquid.
Something he also notably played a lot in his time in Tier 2. And with things like some of the aggressive picks like the Pantheon, like the Xin Zhao taken away, I like seeing Sheiden on those as well. Curious what he's going to lean towards now.
I mean, maybe they pick support here. No. They're just gonna lock
Oh,
Because
okay.
I was thinking, remember the Olaf from the Lion series
Yeah.
when he can see the whole draft, and against Renekton Vi, the Olaf was looking okay if you see even more of the draft, but with Viego being up, that's just a power pick he can take right away.
And it's good. It's good pick combo with Ahri. Both of them have very good CC and burst damage and execute with your ultimate. So definitely some very good pick potential there.
Is it Senna o'clock?
It might be.
Could be.
Yeon could pull it out, and there it is, locked in for Yeon.
It's funny. These guys were discussing Senna on pros, Yeon and Sven, and they were kind of, and even Inspired, like, I'm not sure if it's good. It's played in every series.
I would hope
Some
that
teams are first
sure
picking
it's
it.
good.
They know that it is good in some situations. They're really trying to figure out like exactly when it's good because it's so much more scaling oriented than it used to be with the increased soul rate on 80 carry Senna, 14% drop rate. It's higher than it's ever been, but it's really not that strong early in the game. You really have to have a winning lane matchup and be able to collect a lot of souls early in order to be effective late.
Yeah, it's good when you just played a game that was almost 50 minutes and you're like, you know what? If I had been collecting souls that whole time,
that would have been way easier.
that would be sick.
I would have been shooting from a screen away.
It's good when we're playing against Dignitas.
But we did see in the FlyQuest series when the Ezreal got very far ahead, Masu was able to still catch up, get the full build, and then mega outrange, and he was like 2 or 3 shotting the Ezreal in that one. Of course, what was behind in the early stages though, so. We'll see. There's definitely some opportunity for Dignitas. They have a lot of pick. It's not just the Viego and the Ahri. When you have a Leona as well, Leona Ezreal is such a classic pairing, both because yes, they themselves have their own kill potential for lane, but also because the Leona also gets a lot of roam timers to go around and play with a carry jungler. So I have a spotlight on Sheiden this time around. I want to see what we can get done here with this Viego pick.
All right, well, as the coaches give their fist bumps up on stage, a reminder to non-subscribers that we will see you in 30 seconds. But for everybody else sticking around here, it's 1-1 on the scoreboard between Team Liquid and Dignitas. We will at least get a Game 4 in this series, something we have been clamoring for in the North. And just happy that Dignitas was able to deliver, because talking to them ahead of the games today, they were saying, Srtty mentioned, it's been a while since Team Liquid beat them in scrims. So he actually was like, as long as we can translate the non-stage games onto stage, it's going to be a good look for us. I think that's more of what we saw in that game too.
And I also think, as much as the snap engage is big for Dignitas, I think Team Liquid's going to try and make that a non-factor by controlling the laning phase. So when they have APA Ziggs, it's about turret destruction. And I'm looking at this lane phase. Renekton, Impact, he can get prio. Ziggs can get push. The Senna Nautilus might be able to get push. They might make it too difficult for Sheiden to make plays.
1 soul for Yeon. It's already not
He's starting.
Good. Yep.
It's over.
Stacking early.
Also for Yeon, though, the cleanse, because people are definitely going to be coming for his head a lot in the early game with stuns, with charms, Leona, plus the Viego, plus the Ahri. And we have seen, especially early game Sennas, that though they die very quickly if you can CC them. So he's going with cleanse here for the bottom side as well. And honestly, I do definitely agree with you. Every APA Ziggs game, I feel like they focus so heavily on chaining that tower gold.
All right, but with that said, we actually have Ezreal standing by with an interview with TL coach Spawn.
How's the team feeling about the pressure here? Obviously, you dropped the last game. You're in the lower bracket. How are you all feeling going into Game 3?
I mean, honestly, we're pretty happy to be in the lower bracket. We think that right now we're not good enough to win the league anyway, so why would you want to be in the upper bracket where you're having, the bye week, not playing all that much? So we've got to battle through it. We're a hard-working team, so we're, trying to just enjoy the moment and build like we have in Split 1 last year and, Split 1 this year.
What does the team need to do to get into a place where you are good enough to win the league?
I mean, I think our individual level of just laning and kind of how we're playing individually is just not very high at the moment. I think we still have great ideas as a team, but we're just letting ourselves down with some of the execution. So I would say, tidy that up and we'll be pretty okay.
Thanks a lot. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Spawn. Didn't put him on the spot, though, and ask about the Yuuji.
I do like the answer, though, of okay, we've got good ideas, but we haven't been able to execute on them.
Yeah.
So it's at least still giving you know, the possible pathway here to success laid out before them. Just gotta play better, though.
And as a reminder, the last time Dig beat Team Liquid in a series play was 2017. Woo. Here's the rosters from back there, the Dardoch, Piglet, Team Liquid roster, and Keen, not Keine, in the mid lane, along with Someday, Shrimp, Alltech, and Adrian. A couple other things that were happening back then when Dignitas won in 2017. Spawn, the guy we just heard from, he was cast in the OPL. That's in Australia. We have Lear.
Why do you say it like that?
Australia.
That was a perfect accent. I don't know what you're talking about. CoreJJ was about to win a world championship with Samsung, had also gone to Game 5 against T1 in 2016, and Kane was released. So it's been a while, but 2 games away, and they'd be able to do it here.
A lot of stuff happened in 2017, but what happened right there on screen, Yeon actually takes a big chunk as Tomo actually traded back. But right now, it's Tomo and Isles with the level advantage and the wave shove, again, making it not the exact same that we've seen from Team Liquid, where they try and get either winning lanes for Yuuji or just kind of handhold Yuuji through the early game. He really has been stepping more into his own here.
Both junglers, after their crabs, just go in. You have a couple of extra seconds
vision
from your full clear. Exactly. Place your deep vision
They're
wards.
doing exactly the same thing.
That's some synergistic recalls there. And now,
Yeah, but Yuuji was 1 second quicker.
oh, true, true.
Done.
The margin of error is so small. 1 second can be the difference here. Although I think he will still be waiting a little bit for camp to spawn. Heading towards that bottom side and will be on vision. So Dignitas will have information here, especially the bottom side. Actually going to head all the way down here. And that means that Tomo and Isles can back off. Tomo even went for a reset there.
Srtty getting aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows that Vi's not around, so he's comfortable making this play. Impact also knows exactly where Sheiden is, so they're just both ego checking each other there.
Ooh, big chunk from Impact trading onto Srtty. These top laners very low. Typically, we don't have to look very much at top side in the early game, but Srtty and Impact definitely making us sit on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, sometimes with perfect vision on junglers, you get to see way more aggressive laners because they're not afraid of throwing the lane by going over aggressive. Srtty kind of comfortable because he has the biscuit, but Impact just definitely trying to trade as aggressively as possible with Renekton.
And the perfect mirror there, I really do like it for the Vi side, because Yuuji can just keep farming up, try and get to his level 6. But Sheiden actually not going to finish his next full clear. Because he comes over to the Dragon, Yuuji comes back to contest here.
Yuuji's a little behind on this, too, and he just doesn't have the priority from bot side. So Yuuji just wasted a little bit of time. He walks over to back towards bot jungle and says, nope, cannot contest that.
Yeah, good read overall by Dignitas. Yeon had based on Senna, so they'd have a quick numbers advantage there. APA wasn't level 6 quite yet when they started that Drake, so he's still likely going to be able to get all of his camps. Potentially, he might get contested at Raptors, but for the most part, that's just a nice early Drake by Dignitas.
Yeah, very good for them. Because Yuuji and the communication you could see on TL, like in real time, he's like, oh, I'll come back and contest this, and then the lanes are like, no, you won't.
Nope.
So
Not today.
That did delay him also equally on the next clear. So Sheiden actually didn't lose out at all any tempo whatsoever by picking up the dragon for the team. And it is an ocean dragon, even though all the individual dragons aren't that strong anymore. That one is quite nice for the early stages. So very small, minor individual thing in the scuttle crab for Yuuji, though.
It makes things like Srtty and Impact trading aggressively even just slightly better for Srtty because he can get some of that health back.
Yep, hasn't had to use that biscuit either. Renekton level 6 will be pretty important in about a minute and a half when these grubs happen. We've seen less swapping in this matchup as well. Honestly, less aggression in the early laning phase. Both junglers opting for those full clears, everyone being on vision, has made this a very standard game.
Yeah, everyone just staring at each other in the mirrors.
Yep. I mean, reminder, last game we didn't get first blood for like at least 10 minutes, if memory serves, and we didn't get that feats of warfare until like 25, so strap in, everybody. It could be another one of those here. The stacking Senna will be benefiting from that the later the game goes. If we get another really long one, that's where I want my eyes to be on. But early game, where should we put our eyes on if action is to happen?
It would be Rift Herald, and it's up against a level 6 Renekton. So I kind of think that if Team Liquid really want to commit, for the Void Grubs, not the Rift Herald at 8 minutes, would be a big thing. Yeon, I think, has memories of watching Masu get to 200 stacks, and he's just thinking into the future. I think that's part of why he has these early swiftness boots, is because he's just spacing and not even trying to win the lane, but just trying to farm souls.
Yeah.
Just auto Q at max range, get back. Don't get an engage range. There is a bit of a risk playing Senna into a Leona because the one-shot potential is so high, but you can see
right there,
he's not worried about like all-inning. He's just doing those quick trades, getting the souls as much as possible, and already at 27 is
that's
pretty high.
fast, yeah.
Never going to kill me if you can't catch me.
That's the idea.
I'm too swift.
Very, very, very quick. Plus he has the cleanse, as we talked about earlier, so he is all about evading the Dignitas attempts at his life.
Also the first time Team Liquid have not gone for the lane swap. They're keeping their bot laners there, and Dignitas are starting up the grubs. Sheiden has the ultimate available. A reset fight from Viego could be terrifying for Team Liquid. They're trying to poke out with the APA for right now, but Isles actually goes in. It's pulled back by CoreJJ, flashes away, locked down by Yuuji, followed up. Impact falls in the top side. Trade of top laner for support as Dig find their own play.
Yeah, Impact got very close there, and so Dig could just turn on to him. But TL, it was a very good interrupt from CoreJJ. He interrupts Isles first, and then APA knocks him back. And
Kane's taking a lot of damage here. Yuuji was hiding in the brush. Now flashes over, charmed up. APA with the bomb for the kill.
That is quite nice, and now they will at least be able to deny a single grub, so you don't get the credit for the feats or the might.
That's crazy, though, that they were able to get that second kill onto APA. Yuuji just finding a hidden spot as Keine walks into it, because I would say from the team comp, getting a 1-for-1 here for Dig is beneficial. I think TL could clear them here. Srtty did a good job marking Impact up on the top side, because Isles gets abandoned, but Impact gets collapsed on. So I'd say, hey, not bad if you are Dig. It's just the follow-up of this play, where Yuuji is not on vision that entire time.
And for TL, I would blame Impact for that, because they had just, CoreJJ and APA both made a really good play to pick Isles and separate Isles from the team. CoreJJ hooks him out, bumps him, and then APA satchel charges him back. But Impact, like, I don't know, he was trying to like pincer the other side or like remain in pressure, and Viego able to walk up and miss and get that counter kill.
Sometimes you just assume that the enemy team's looking one direction, but Viego can always change course in that mist. So, yeah, Team Liquid gave one over, but are still up 1 kill overall, as well as a little bit of gold here. And again, denying that third grub, so it's not like it's a major advantage for either one of these teams. As Dragon's coming up in 20 seconds here, that is still ideally the focus for Dignitas. They don't want to allow the Senna to just free scale late into the game. They already have that first Drake.
They might try to stack it really fast, too. Srtty has his teleport. Impact does not, if they've been timing that very well. Good poke onto APA before as well, and they're just going to start it up immediately. They know they have teleport advantage, so if this gets contested, I would expect Srtty to try and teleport in. He'd have to make space in top lane, though, to do it.
I think the Team Liquid just giving it up. That was a back from Yuuji, not going to contest.
So Dig has the early dragons. TL has the early kills onto APA Ziggs, and I want to talk about Keine and APA and their champion pools. APA's had a much smaller champion pool, but a more effective champion pool in terms of actually generating wins. Kaine's played a ton of different stuff, but I feel like they've been kind of all over the place in what they've been playing and had a lot of poor performances. Currently this series, they've been targeting APA's champs to maybe starve him by the end of the series, but the fact that he's on Ziggs right now, like, this is a game that Team Liquid has to convert into a win.
Yeah, if they can't win this one, it's much tougher. You can add Victor to that as well. This was coming into the series, so APA has played one more there, but I like that you highlight that, yes, it's a smaller champ pool, but it has yielded better results than Keine, which sometimes when your team trying to get wins, familiarity can be a benefit.
Nico, Ziggs, Ahri, Azir, Taliyah, all gone. Cassiopeia would be the only one available in the rest of the series.
He's going to have to get a little bit more fearless.
Yeah.
A little bit more variety in our lives.
Cowards beware.
As you say, he is currently on the champion.
The champ.
That is associated with him and has been for years. And he always performs so effectively on it. He got the early Dark Seal ahead of the kills. Yeah. And so it's stacking up even more effectiveness. All the extra value here from the Dark Seal on his first Iron Power Spike. This Ziggs just does so much damage, and you can see it in the little things, like the really good satchel charges, interrupting people at perfect times. And so Team Liquid, at the very least in this game, should feel very comfortable.
And it means that Team Liquid, off of his ability to also push waves, they find these little windows here. AP is just hovering nearby. CoreJJ's linked up with Yuuji. And now they're going to go for their own engage here. CoreJJ jumps in onto Isles. Has the Hex Flash as now Yuuji goes back in. Big damage onto the Leona. Now they turn their attention onto Tomo, but Yuuji went in, did not have the backup of the team. Heartbreak is not enough. Yuuji's still alive. Senna keeping him up. Finally, the junglers go down. Now it's going to come down to the AD carries. APA and Tomo positioning against each other, but CoreJJ is actually out of there. APA does not have the sustained damage. Tomo does, and APA has to Hexgate out of there. That's a 2-for-1 for Dignitas.
It looked like Senna might have been able to turn the fight, but the fact is that Ezreal was actually there. Senna just threw the ult in, so the numbers advantage is what turned it for Dignitas. This is an aggressive play by Team Liquid, and then I think Tomo arriving here makes Team Liquid say, not sure about this. Yuuji's undeterred though, and I'd say a little bit of miscoordination. The Ziggs all flies onto Isles, whereas the Vi flies onto Tomo, and that puts things into a bad situation for TL.
Yeah, exactly. They threw the ult out at the exact same time on opposite targets there. So maybe you're thinking, all right, well, even though we are literally staring at Tomo and we know that they've got all 5 people here, they don't have the coordination.
Stressed Lyra right there.
I feel you on that one. But let's see what
Tomo with 2 kills now under his belt is really good news for Dignitas, I'll say. Has the Trinity Force completed as well?
Yeah, because a lot of what's going to happen now in the game is that the Senna and the Ezreal are going to look at each other in mid lane, and if the Ezreal is too strong for Yeon to be able to step up, it's going to significantly decrease Yeon's ability to farm souls. With the static shift completed right now, though, he's still able to shove fairly quickly, and is 48 souls at 14 minutes.
Yeah, it's slowed down slightly. I believe he was at 27 at around the 7.5 minute mark, around the 8 minute mark. So he was alone in the bottom lane for a little bit, though, pushing that wave and then went for the reset. As now, again, Dragon in 1.5 minutes. We have Herald in 30 seconds. So there's a chance that those overlap. Otherwise, these teams will be setting up for that Herald as next play.
All right, Keine once again in brush control versus APA, but he hasn't had any problems thus far. APA have been very, very consistent here. Did get an extra stack off the assist over on the last little skirmish as well.
That's crazy. No play goal
with the Ziggs in the game as well. Kind of scary right there as Root onto Isles. Yeon chasing. Yuuji as well. They lock down Isles, but he's trying to just tank up all the cooldowns, all the abilities, so Tomo can free fire. Isles lives for long enough, but does finally fall. Impact joins in. Keine chases down another kill, but Sheiden's in trouble. Charm lands up on Impact, but a double kill already for Team Liquid. Stop later, make it more. Srtty carries the last embrace into his team as he will fall. Keine trying to escape now. Impact chasing down. Doesn't have the flash available, but the slow from Yeon through his top laner. Lock down the mid laner. TL show up huge in the fight.
The boots of swiftness and flash to get in range, to get the slow. So Impact can land his 2, and TL come up huge. Take a look at the teleports after they come in, but here's how it all started out.
Yeah, starts with the skirmish. It's only a bit of a 2v3, but then everyone slowly arrives, and I'd say it was so close to being a quick execute by Dignitas trying to kill Yuuji quickly, but it looked like the ult from the Viego was trying to execute Vi didn't. That delays everything long enough for Impact to really get in there with his level 11 dominance cooking, and we're on to Drake right away.
Now reset everybody back onto the objective. Yeon has no flash, no cleanse, as that could be more difficult for Yeon to approach these fights. But if you have these fights where Yeon on the Senna is uncontested, unthreatened, it's not going to go great for Dignitas, as currently they do control the access point to the Dragon. Team Liquid coming from mid lane.
Last fight, Impact had a big effect, and he's flanking now on the Renekton.
Okay, who's going to mark the Crocodile? Instead, they're just going to go in. Isles looks for the engage, but Sheiden rooted up. Still onto the Dragon. A little split focus from Dignitas right now as Impact is just 1v2ing on the side. On a rampage. Dragon is secured by Sheiden, but the fight is going awry. Team Liquid will pick up 3 members. Double kill over to Impact as it's Sheiden and Tomo running for the hills here. Impact still stunning up Tono. Under the turret, takes up 1 shot. Yeon looking for even more. They get onto Shade, and that's 4 to Team Liquid.
Last fight, Impact's teleport meant everything, and this time he walks on over with his rage bar charged. And rips him apart.
This is the Impact game.
Yeah.
For sure. He had the Ornn, he had the Scion, but it's the Renekton that has been by far his most effective pick in this series. He completely dominated that fight. He just pretty much solo killed the Ahri, and the Renekton on the backside.
Hold on me. Yeah, I plug. I'm okay.
I'm okay too.
Viego's
1 HP.
I got it.
I'm
going down.
Yuuji,
I'm chasing down.
Kill Diana for now.
And there's just more. Impact is still killing him.
Yeah, back to live. Isles has to limp away from the jungle that no longer belongs to Dignitas. With a 5,500 gold lead, Team Liquid can pretty much go where they please.
You definitely can say that again, because this turret is going to go down very quickly. They've got the Ziggs already in mid lane. Boom, that thing's down. That's all outer turrets, Genghis.
Yeah.
The entire map is now open to them. You can get those deep wards through the jungle.
Despite the fact that that's the only game in the LTA so far that has had 0 plates taken, it doesn't quite matter. Ziggs still takes turrets fast in the late game, it turns out.
And they still get a lot of gold even when the plates are down. And I think that last fight, if you're the Dignitas coaching staff for the Dignitas players, as Sheiden is again, they're just going to try for another fight. They're down so much, they're going to go
play
for it.
here. The Herald's already picked up. Isles looks for the engage onto APA, flash away from the Ziggs. Now they turn onto Core. Also has the flash. Team Liquid, they're getting out of this one. Nice route from Yeon there to buy space for his support to get away. Srtty now has to retreat. Team Liquid now controlling the waves.
Yeah, they even turn around and do some damage.
Yeah.
They know they have no teleport on Impact. They're like, it's fine. We can push you off. Impact rotates over from their side lane push. The Rift Herald opens up mid.
Oh, they're so strong. A fed Senna as well with 3 melee champions that are in. Makes it so difficult to contest. I want to go back to that Drake, though. Like, technically, Dig did get the Drake, but they were so tunnel-visioned on that Drake, and I think it cost them the game. They were down maybe 1,000 gold. I think because they won the last game through Seoul, they said, we must get Seoul to win this game. But whenever you're on Drake for that long, and there's a Renekton flanking you on vision, that fight was never going to be a big win for Dig.
Yeah, tough for Dignitas in this game, but a reminder that if you want to watch finals with the crowd, but you're not in LA, good news. LTA North is partnering up with Regal Cinemas to bring the finals to the big screen. Scan the QR code on your screen to get tickets today.
Yeah, the game also doesn't really get better for Dignitas since their comp is like so pick-oriented with Viego and Ahri. So it will have to be like some crazy Tomo heroics if they actually are able to turn the tides, but I don't see Team Liquid slowing down at all with this massive gold lead and the souls that they can just continue to collect here. They have big advantages that they can just abuse. Otacon should be fairly simple.
Right at 20 minutes. Yeon, 85 souls at 20 minutes. I know we have some new tech that can compare that with past Senna Soul games that we're going to be checking
he's teleporting in. They're going to throw it.
They're just going to try.
They're actually going to contest. Here comes Keine. Straight in onto a Renekton right now. Team Liquid are in onto the Otacon. They've gotten shredded down. It is secured. Yuuji got it now, engaging onto Sheiden. Impact chasing him out of there. Flashes over the wall. Dignitas don't lose a member yet, but the last whisper. Dawning Shadow. Yeon picks up the kill.
He's 1v4ing them right now. He doesn't even have backup.
The rest of the team is behind me, I promise you.
Yeah, they're close enough, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Dignitas, like we were kind of going over, they know the game's not going to get better to them, so they just like full send.
Oh, wow, look at this. 72.8 since 2023. So, okay, to be fair to these stats, you didn't get a 14% drop rate on Senna Souls at the early in 2023, but it's still a lot of stacks for Yeon.
That line might be one of the patch notes that comes up the most in League of Legends is Senna Soul drop rates when you are killing or when you are not killing minions. So, yeah.
Been contentious where that should be. As of right now, it's in a really good spot for the Senna players. And Yeon having a great performance on this champion as well. 2 kills, or rather 2 completed items now. And ready to just continue to scale. I would even argue doesn't need to scale very much more. The Senna's already a threat.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I had time one day. The soul rate drop has been changed 12 times since Senna was released.
Wow.
I had all of the dates. I sent it out in the tweet a while ago. But it has never been 14%. The highest it had ever been before this was in 2021 when it was 10%. And then 6 months after that got dropped to 2.7%. Now it's at 14. I did talk to the designers about this, though, and they thought with current itemization, the current landscape, that she was just felt so weak, they didn't think 10% would be enough, so they just jacked it up to 14. And here we are. Well, it's interesting and Fearless, right? Because some Sennas look like this, and some Sennas look useless. It's the scaling right now, where I feel like once you get over the curve, you're just taking over games.
We won't see it again in this series as Looks like we're pretty much done with this game here. Team Liquid already knocking onto the inhibitors with their 7,000 gold lead. They took the 4th dragon for themselves, denying the stacking from Dignitas. Dig couldn't even walk up to try and contest that one. And now their base is starting to crack. The Ziggs really comes online here. Can just shred through these objectives.
Try a bit of engage on impact, but they can't get anything. He just dashes away. No flank teleport wards to get in behind them, which would be another play.
Really no wards at all. A couple on the top river right now, but that's not where Team Liquid's looking, as instead they look to engage here onto Srtty. He's a tank, but he is getting shredded down here. Yeon with the black cleaver does hurt. Srtty just can't get away. Has to flash another dotting shadow. CoreJJ picks up the kill as Team Liquid look to put the final touches on this game. No more frontline. Dignitas running back to the fountain. They'll lose their support as Keine will just wait underneath the turrets for the waves to come in.
Wow, I mean, Dignitas had been the team that can stall games out. This is one where they're losing in peace. This is a 23-minute game. They're ready to go next.
23.5 on the clock as Team Liquid did not lose a member in that fight. They take down 1 Nexus turret, 1 more between them and a Game 2 victory. It's Tomo and Keine. They're going to have to find a miracle play. Big damage from Tomo there. Does actually push Team Liquid back a little bit. And I think that Team Liquid feeling shaken from that. They don't want to commit for the game end.
They have huge bounties and everyone on Dig is alive. So they got to be a little cautious right now as Srtty's going to try to run people down.
Just in time. The ward expired right after he landed. Srtty is here. Dignitas have to make this play work. If they can't pick up a couple of kills, it's just not going to mean much. That's 1 shut down onto CoreJJ.
You always know, if you're the straggler of the herd, you're getting left behind. He gets picked off and separated from the herd. CoreJJ, you will be remembered.
Noble sacrifice by CoreJJ. Only the 5th death of the game for Team Liquid. They have really blown this game completely open. It's the power of the Ziggs when they're ahead in these games, plus the extra sustain they were getting from the Senna. They could just make that siege last absolutely forever. They probably... they will probably just collect Baron at 25 minutes, but I don't even think they need to with the 2 waves of super minions if they wanted to walk top with the Ziggs and the Senna.
Yeah, running straight up right now. APA and Yeon racing into Dignitas territory.
What about this? Take away their blue buff. I think that's equally up there in terms of priority.
They do need a little bit of vision on this side of the map, because the one thing they can't have happen is Seoul gets snuck away. They'd still probably win with that gold lead, but if they lost a fight and then lost Seoul, they'd actually be a winner to lose this game.
Now they're going to go for their own engage here onto Keine. That's Flash and Spirit Rush used by the Ahri. So APA and Yuuji using their ultimates just to force Keine out of there. And again, reminder, there's no Nexus turrets. Like, they don't have to go for the Baron. They can actually just walk in, force the fight before the turrets respawn, try and get the game win right now. Keine, again, no ultimate available, is going to have to position very well in this scrap. Sheiden resets is really their best chance of a team fight win. If you get that 1 kill, Sheiden can reset. That could be something.
This is the most efficient way to farm souls, too, for Yeon. With all 3 minion waves right here.
Ooh, Isles missing the ultimate as well. Now Impact goes in. Isles just getting chunked down here. There's just no shot for Dignitas. Team Liquid were inevitable in this game. Impact doesn't even die to the fountain. Team Liquid go up 2-1 in the series.